I came live here. Huh. I was setting the scheduled time. What are gangsters doing today? Well, folks, you all know me. I'm Ori Spado, the accidental gangster. I wrote the book, The Accidental Gangster, from insurance salesman to Hollywood fixer. Hopefully by now you all know that. Uh, Hang on. Okay. Now, hello, Steven Chagall. How are you? Almost like Steven Seagal. Thank you for coming. You know, this came on. Steven, can you see what were the, what was I saying? Because I don't know if this is the one that I had set to go live. Does it say what our gangsters doing today? I don't know. I don't think so. Steven, I gotta shut this one down and come back. Uh, okay, I'm live, Steven. Did you get a notification? I say it right, Stefan or Stefan. All right. Did give my title? What did the title say that made you come here today? Because I think I messed up here. There's Milky Paws. Hello. Okay, we're seeing some people here. All right, says we got 5 people here. Okay, let's start rocking here, folks. Okay, Ronnie, thank you for coming. George Stuber, Milky Paws. Yeah. Yeah, I started the stream, so whatever this title is, folks, all right, what I'm talking about today, all right, as you all know, I'm a reformed gangster, and I got a lot of gangster stories, all right, to tell you. But, you know, I sit here as a reformed gangster, and I'm no different than any of you, okay? We all have to make a living. Cost of living has spiraled. And I think about all the money I made when I was on the streets. It was an everyday occurrence. Okay, we hustle it. Anything we can do. Giancarlo. How you doing, Giancarlo? Well, I know you, don't I? How are you, my friend? Okay? What job do you have? What job do I have? I do anything. Okay? No, I don't have a steady job. I never had a steady job, except when I sold insurance. Okay? And I worked strictly on commission. Okay? No salary. Huh? Come on, folks, hit that like button, subscribe, and show me some love here today. So anyways, I'm wondering, if I were back on the streets, what would I do? There's my gal Wanderer. Thank you, honey. Okay, what would I be doing if I were on the streets today? Because it's changed so much. Okay? Now I still hear stories. Huh? And Pete Dudley asked me about New Orleans story. Well, guess who I met at the Colonnade Hotel in New Orleans? Yes, I did. Carlo Marcello. It's right there in my book, folks. The Accidental Gangster. Okay? If you haven't read it yet, you should. Okay? Uh, yeah, go to my website. It's right in my profile if you want an autographed copy. Otherwise, you can go to Amazon or Barnes and Noble. All right? You got it, Red Eddie. I was a gangster at the right time. Okay? Because being a gangster today, everybody's an informant. Okay? I'm not the only one saying that. Okay? You could check it out. You know who it is. Okay? All right? Thank you, Patricia, telling the people to like and sub. That's what I like. Very respectful people. I love you folks. There's my gal Cindy. Hi, Cindy. You got a little work here to do today. You know, we get a lot of bots over here on YouTube for some reason. All right? Yeah. So anyway, you got everybody's a rat today. They no longer go into the WITSEC program. They just go and right back into the neighborhood where they always lived. And nothing happened to them. Because now there's a rule, all right? No one aliving anybody. Eh, look it. I didn't make it up, okay? That's really the rule nowadays. No unaliving anybody. So you go out there, work with all these guys, then you get caught, you could rat, and go back in your home in Brooklyn and nobody's gonna bother you. Is that bullshit or what? Okay? That didn't happen in the old days, folks. And when I say the old days, I'm talking before the 80s, okay? With the guys that I knew, like Frank Costello, uh, Meyer Lansky, Carlo Marcello, Russell Buffalino, Sonny Frances, Jimmy Conchi out here in Los Angeles, the underboss, okay? Now everybody's wannabe gangster, keypad gangster on social media. But I want to tell you about a real bastard, all right? Greg Scarpa, all right? And let me tell you about Greg Scarpa. And you all know who know him. He was known as the Grim Reaper. Now, there's a movie coming out, and it'll be in theaters September the 4th. Mark Wahlberg is playing Greg Scarpa. And Greg Scarpa Jr., who I know is a friend of mine, was the consultant to Mark Wahlberg for this movie. And there's going to be a screening September the 1st with Mark and all the executives, the actors, and I'm going to be there, so I'll be able to see the movie at the screening. All right? You got it right, Karen. Carlo was a real gangster. But let's talk. The movie is not going to be about all the people that Greg unalived, okay? Mark, that's a good question. I'll give you an answer soon, okay? This is about what Greg Scarpa did, all right, to fight the Ku Klux Klan. Yes, okay? In 1966, the FBI was losing its war against the KKK in Mississippi. Civil rights leaders were being brutally murdered, and every legal way of apprehending the culprits had failed. Vernon Dahmer, a farmer and NAACP leader who let his store to be used to register black voters, he was killed after Klansmen firebombed his home in the night, leaving the Bureau with no leads. And so, with no other options, the FBI turned to more unorthodox methods. They reached out to Gregory Scarpa, an infamous Colombo family hitman they secretly kept on the payroll since 1962. Okay, a man who claimed he stopped counting his kills after he reached 50. After he reached 50, folks, he stopped killing. And that's how he got the name, the Grim Reaper. And let's talk about when he was an informant and some of the things that I know that he was doing. All right? The FBI agent who was his handler, all right, Del Vecchio, would be giving him information of guys that he was looking for to unalive. And he get that information from the FBI agent, then at night he go out and unalive that person, okay? And actually, Del Vecchio was later charged, okay? People keep asking me how old I am. What's the difference how old I am? I'm 81 years old. 81. I was born in 1944. So you can see I go way back, okay? What they did with Greg Scarpa then is they flew him down to Mississippi. They briefed him on the case and what he did, and they gave him a gun, and he had a knife with him at all times, okay? And this guy, all right, that he was after in the Ku Klux Klan, owned a TV store, sold TVs. So Greg went in, bought a TV, and then he asked the guy, help him to put the car in the trunk of his, put the TV in the trunk of his car. And when the guy did help him, Greg also put him in the trunk of the car, drove out to a wooded area, okay? And tied the guy on the ground, some stakes that he put in the ground there, and tried to get the information of who the other Klans members were. And this guy refused to talk, all right? Until Greg put his pants down, took out his knife, held his thing, and stick. That guy yelled. He yelled so loud. The FBI were down the road in their car. You know, they had all the recordings going. They had the thing so they could listen on their ear. This guy screamed so loud, the FBI agents almost went deaf. They had to take the things out of their ears. So Greg got the information, all right? That he was looking for. And the FBI arrested the rest of them. And then the rest is history. All right? Now the movie's being made into a movie. It's called By Any Means, and like I said, drops September 4th. I'm anxious to see this film. All right, I'm anxious to go to the screening for this movie. All right, and see Greg and Mark and the whole cast in this movie. But folks, this is a movie that's going to be true. Not like the movie they want to do on that Pete Davidson, all right, that clown who wrote the book, The Butcher, all right, did on Tommy Patera, which is all bullshit, okay? All bullshit. But Pete Davis is making it. No caps, please. Thank you, Cindy. Premium screen, what movie? By any means, I just talked about it. Okay? Clips, 10.99. I just got here, sorry. Primal Screams, have you subscribed to my channel yet? Folks, let me know if you're a new subscriber, and I'll give you a shout out. Okay? Other people ask me, give shout out to this person and that person. Okay? But folks, show me a little bit of respect in return. Give me a gift. Do something. Okay? Charming Kevin is new here. Did you subscribe? Okay? I want to know if you subscribed. New sub, Unc Gammon. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that there. All right? Jeff Clooney. That's not the kind of question. Primal Scrapes. Hit that thanks button for 10 bucks. I thank you so much, Primal Scria. Folks, there's a thanks button down there. You hit it. Help me build my channel. Help me support. I appreciate it. All right? Thank you, Primal. Where are you from, my friend? Primal? No. Folks, what kind of movies do you watch? You know, I like watching action movies, and I love female action movies. They're actually better than men. I mean, I love Jason. Anything Jason Stratham is in, I love it. Okay? But as far as females go, I gotta tell you, that Maggie Q, she's an awesome actress. You know what I'm talking about? I wish she would do many more actions. She's really good at it. She kicks ass. Okay? I love watching women, okay, in these action movies. Uh, just wanted to throw that out there. Okay? All right, folks, we're at number 49 likes. Let's get that up. Come on, keep hitting that like button. Smash it, folks. All right? And share this here, let other people know I'm here. All right? Cindy, you're doing a great job. Great job. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. So, folks, we're going to talk about Greg. What more could I say about Greg Scarpa? There's an awful lot of stories about him. Okay, and his son, Greg Jr. He's on social media. He tells some great stories. You could Google his name, see what I'm talking about. But you know, for those who were here yesterday, I broke the myth about drugs being dealt in the mafia, okay? And I still hear other former gangsters say, it's against the rules. There ain't no fucking rules, folks, okay? You know who started the drugs in the mafia? Huh? It wasn't the guy on the bottom. It was the guys on the top. All right? And let me go over it again here. Still got my research papers. All right? Well, you all know who Lucky Luciano was. All right? Well, he was dealing from the 1920s and 1940s. Then he got deported back to Italy. All right? You all know who Joe Bonanno was? Or the first boss of the Bonanno family. All right. Joe Bonanno brought Carmen Galante in 1957, October of 1957. All right, brought Carmen Galante and got him into the heroin business. Oh, guess who they happened to meet while they were in Sicily then? No other than Lucky Luciano. Okay? And they coordinated a major international heroin spike pipeline in the United States. Okay? And it was also Carmen Galante and Carlo Gambino. They really got along good. Okay? And they wanted to, because there were so many people becoming informants here in the United States, they brought what's known as the Zips, okay, which were the young Italians who obeyed, went by the old rules, okay, and then you heard of the Pizza Connection and all that stuff, okay, so it was basically, now it became the Zips, okay, that were handling everything, huh? Now, 1948, Carlo Gambino, along with Paul Gambino, met with Lucky Luciano at a relative's home in Palermo. The smuggling operation, Federal Bureau of Narcotics file, linked the Gambinos to overseeing smuggling pipelines, including moving individuals known as Zips and heroin via ships like the SS Panormus arriving in Philadelphia. Okay? Now, the official stance versus reality. While law enforcement tied Carlo Gambino to early international drug trafficking, connections through his Sicilian roots, later in his tenure as boss of the family, Gambino publicly and internally discouraged large-scale narcotics trading. He believed it drew too much federal scrutiny to individual members, though individual members of his family continue with it. So, there's Carlo Gambino, all right? There's Joe Bonanno, there's Lucky Luciano. Let me go on. There was Vito Genovese. It goes on and on, folks. So that myth, and now how do I know about it? Okay? They say you automatically get unalived if you're in that bullshit. Well, that's not true, folks. Let me tell you what happened with me. I was bringing 500 pounds of weed. Had a pilot, had everything I needed. Pilot from Arizona, flying it into New York. I was paying like 500 a pound, selling it for 1,000 a pound. Okay, and this wasn't the best weed in the world, but it was a fluffy weed that everybody liked. Okay. I had airports in upstate New York that I had the pilot. Okay, it was a single pilot, single plane. He'd fly in, he'd land. I had my driver from New York right there waiting for him. As soon as he landed, boom, they made the transfer. My driver heads back into New York. The pilot leaves. That quick. Then once it reached New York, I had a place on Ocean Park in Brooklyn. And that's where my driver would bring the stuff. And then I had my guy that bought for me, all right? And I give them each line, different lines of credit. And I would say, Joe, you take 50, John, you get 100, based upon the credit. And that 500 pounds, boom, gone. Never did I accept $1. No money was transferred at that site. It was gone, it was there, it was gone in minutes. And then And for I want to tell the younger some wise words. I'll do that, Mike. So give me a moment, please, and remind me again in case I forget, please. Okay. And then I go back to my hotel, the Warwick on 54th and 6th. In the evening, the guys would start coming with the cash. They bring the cash. They see me open my safe in my room. I put the money in the safe. Then after they left, I took the money out of the safe, and I had my guy Charlie in another room upstairs, and I brought the cash up to my guy Charles. Okay. Why did I do that? Because you got to realize, no matter what drug business you're in, and I don't suggest anybody go into it. I'm against it. Okay, don't do it. You're only going to end up dead or in jail. Okay, so I strongly urge anyone here, if you're a parent, all right, I strongly urge watch your children, please. All right, so because you can't trust nobody. These guys know that I'm loaded with money. Somebody's going to want to try to rob me. Okay, thank God it never happened, but I was prepared. Because if they came to rob me and they opened that safe, there would be no money in it. Okay, that's how I operated. Thank you for those gifts and all that you do for me here. Okay, and I want to thank my friend who gave me that $10 there. We got anybody else that wants to hit that thanks button, it's appreciated. Okay. And so anyhow, on the next load, the driver come in, I give him the money for the old one that I owed the Mexicans back in Arizona, and begin again. And that's how it went. One of my guys sold to a Gambino guy. Now you can remember, my guy got 100 pounds from me. Then he's selling to this guy. You give this guy 10 pounds, that guy 5 pounds. Okay? Now the Gambino guy's buying from him. I don't know how many pounds. But when they had a conversation, okay, my name comes out that it's coming from Ori Spado. Gambino guy hears my name, he goes to his boss. Says, Ori Spado, bringing in the weed. His boss goes to Sonny. Tell Sonny, I'm dealing. One night I get a call from Sonny. Hey, buddy, gotta see you. I'm over at Avenue D. Oh, boom, I go right over to Avenue D. And I meet with him. And we take a walk. We don't talk in a bar. We take what's called a walk and talk. That's what we did. And he goes, hey, buddy, I hear you're doing the babanya. I said, what are you talking about, Sonny? I don't do that shit. I deny. Okay? And I denied it. I said, no, that's what I hear, buddy. I said, I don't know where you're hearing this from. Yeah, we know so-and-so. I won't give you the guy's name. Another guy out here that I know with the Gambino family. And he was in something he was in the white business. You know what I mean? Okay, Mandy come in. So he was in the white business, and he sent $50,000, pay tribute to the Gambinos. So Sonny said, yeah, he gets paid, buddy. You don't have to tell us where it comes from. You gotta pay us tribute, you gotta give us a little, Sonny, if I were. I said, I'd be paying. I said, but I'm not doing it, so I don't know where this story's coming from. So I denied. You want to call it lying? Call it lying. I don't care what you call it. Okay? So that's part of the story, folks. Okay? I wanted to share that with you. Oh, we're getting more people, and every time I want to leave, people start coming in. All right? I normally don't come on here this late, but today I did. I'm going to tell you why. I'm honest, I'm truthful. I did a couple of shows on TikTok today, okay? And when I go on TikTok, I normally got 150, 200 people there staying steady, you know? They don't scroll as much over on TikTok as over here on YouTube. I don't know why, okay? It's a totally different, uh, every platform is different and got their own special clientele. But you know, I'm trying to learn a little more technology. A lot of things I can't do most things. Technology, I got a block on my head, hair for it, and I gotta let you know that, you know. All right. No. All right. Just what I was telling you earlier. The idea that the mafia strictly banned drug dealing is largely a myth, popularized by organized crime itself and cemented by films like The Godfather. Everybody watches the movie The Godfather and they think it's the gospel. Seriously? It's a movie. You know they're making a movie about my book. When you see the movie, there'll be little parts of my book, but more is from conversations that I had with the writer, George Gallo, than what's in my book. Okay? And people wonder why. Oh, I read the book, but the movie wasn't nothing like it. Because they got to write these movies to get the people into the theaters. And right now, as you know, that's a very tough situation happening. Okay? But hopefully people, if they got a good reason to go to theaters, they're going to go. Okay? All right, well, specific bosses like Angelo Bruno, Paul Castellano, and Vincent Gigante officially banned their members from dealing narcotics. This rule emerged in the 70s and 80s to avoid harsh prison sentences. Okay? Top masters like Lucky Luciano and Vito Genovese were deeply involved in the international heroin trade. Even when families officially outlaw narcotics, bosses often looked the other way or collected a tribute, which is a tax from lower level associates who sold drugs anyway. In other words, folks, they don't give a shit what you do. Pay them their tax and they're happy. They don't care where the money came from. So, you know, all these other former gangsters saying, it's the law, it's the law. It's not the fucking law, okay? There's money in it, and it's big money, huh? It's serious money. You think they're gonna let that money go? No way, folks. So wake up to reality. Well, somebody else gave me another $10 here. Who was that? JDLS, $10. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you, my dear. God bless you. Thank you so much. You made my day here. You folks hitting that thanks button today. You had no idea how much it helps me, really. It does. It gives me the incentive to continuously come to you each and every day with truth, with facts, and stories. And I tell you stories of things that I did, things that I done in life and other times, okay? You don't see me bashing other people putting other people down. Yes, everyone wants to talk about the Vlad interview with Michael Franchi, and then I went on. Okay, everyone wants to talk about that. But Michael and I bury the hatchet. Okay? That's over with. We don't argue. Folks, I'm not here to argue. All right? I only have a certain amount of time left on this earth. So I'm trying to do the right thing like I've done all my life. Doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Keep hitting that like, folks. So you're getting me close to 100 here today, and I appreciate that there. Okay? So keep hitting that like. Come on. Just get me to 100. Okay? Who's going to hit the next like? Hit that like button. All right. You guys are stubborn today. You don't want to hit it. Okay, there we go. One person hit it. Okay. All right. JDLS. You're there. Thank you so much. And I got, it says 66 over there. I don't know, 66 gifts or something. I still don't know what that is. Okay? Folks, I'm 81 years old. When I grew up, we had none of this stuff. We were lucky if we had a TV set. Would you believe that? I can remember the first TV set we got was an Admiral, okay? Admiral TV set, you had to put the, what do they call it, the antennas, all right? And you had to move them, all right? I remember the first show I ever watched was Kate Smith. Okay, so you can see I go back. Telephones, I remember getting our first phone. It was a 7-party line. None of you know what that is. Anybody here know? Come on, leave me a comment. Come on, folks, can't you give me 15 more likes over here? All right, come on, you can do it. All right, keep hitting the like button, okay? And get me to 100. Let's do that. Let's get me to 100 here today, okay? Let's see now. Yeah, so you would pick up the phone and your neighbor down the block would be on it because they had the same phone number. All right, so you had to wait until whoever was off on the phone till they get off. Then when you pick it up, then the operator come on. Phone numbers were 4 digits back in those days. So you had to give 4-digit number. The operator connect you. Remember they had the switchboard, they do the plugging in and all that there? Yeah. Those are the times I grew up in. But they were awesome times. Because we played with our neighbors. We were in the streets, we played kickball, kick the can, stickball, okay? Climb roofs, getting fights. But all our doors were unlocked because nobody was robbing from each other. Those were great times because people were having real conversations and getting to know people. That's how you get to know people, is by having real conversations, not with texting. You can't get to know somebody through texting. That's my belief. I know a lot of you might have met somebody online dating and you did all that texting. I don't do it. If the girl don't want to talk, I'm history, okay? I want to hear a voice. I want to be able to look in your eyes. I want to see what you're all about. And I want you to see what I'm all about. Is that fair? What do you think, folks? Hey, Agent Ori, you came in late here, buddy. How you doing? All right? Okay. Let's see what we got here. Boy, I can't see my comments. And I don't know how. Hmm. 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 I don't know how to do this over. Come on. 89, come on. This who's going to be number 90. Whoever makes it 90, text me, let me know who they are. Okay? 89 likes. Boy, it's tough today to get these likes. It's like I'm asking for $1 billion. Folks, what would things be like if I was still younger and on the streets? What do you think? How do you think things would be? How do you think it is? If we got any young people here, I strongly advise go to college, go to trade school, find something you love doing. If you're a parent, help your children. Learn them respect, what respect is about. Because I'm 81 years old. I'm here. I was never Iraq. Why? Because it was never in my blood, number one. But I survived a life on the streets because of respect, honor, and loyalty. By doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And I strongly urge you all, try to do the same thing, okay? Life is too short, folks. We're here for an instant in the time span. We're not here. We're here for a limited time. We don't know how long we're here for. I'm hoping I'm here till 105. I got that built in my head. That's what I'm visiting. And as long I want to be still walking, talking, all right? Being able to get around on my own without the help of anybody, without being in a nursing home. That's my goals, okay? We all had different goals. We got to try to take care of ourselves in the best way. $99, we're almost there. All right, we're going to hit that 100 mark here pretty soon. Who's going to hit that button, the like button, and make it 100? Okay? Come on, folks, you can do it. I appreciate it. Boom, there it is. Thank you so much. And you folks are awesome. I normally come here much earlier in the day, but I think I got a better crowd here in the evening. More people come through. Folks, I got a lot of stories. I know you like to hear gangster story. All right, I'm going to tell you the story. I'm the guy. I robbed the jail. How did I do that? All right, I'm going to come back again and tell you that story. Some of you might have heard it already. It's in my book too. Okay, I got so many stories to tell you. I want to say good night to you all. God bless you. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Thank you. And remember, folks, I always tell you, be kind to others. Make other people happy. Sometimes it's a simple hello, saying good morning, good evening, okay? Or walking to a grocery store. And you know the clerk's name. Hi, Connie, how you doing? How's the family? You know how happy you made that person. That poor girl that works cashing out people at the people all day long, all right, so she could put food on her table. And you mention her by name. You have no idea what it does to people. I know. Look, if I come on here, I say, hi, Mandy. Okay, I give you names. Hi, Tooth. Tuchinir. Did I say it wrong? I try to say hello to everybody. All right, sometimes it's very tough, and okay, because I got a story that I got to tell you, and I got to keep it going. So, Grandpa, people, yeah, call me Grandpa, call me Uncle. All right, you're all my children. God bless you, folks. I love you. All my love and respect. I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you got notifications on so you know when I come. All right. God bless you all. Thank you so much.